Oh, bestie, like I was thinking I was gonna complete after my last donation, but here I am, still kicking. How about you? How did yours go?
I mean, donation number 2 didn't hit me as hard as donation number 1 did. I'm doing kind of okay right now, you know. Breathing is hard. They did take half of my lung.
And your name is Hazel Grace, and we're actually pivoting, and now we're at the support group from The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh, you're in the support group. I'm in Anne Frank's attic, making out with my boyfriend.
With Justin Bieber saying she would have been a believer. Oh my god, not this flashbang of an intro. Hi everyone, welcome to The Swamp. It's our podcast, it's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
My name is Dara.
I'm Emily.
I don't know why I put so much stank on it.
I was gonna say, Dara.
We're doing a little Dara, and we're doing a little morning record, and because we're talking about the saddest movie.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Maybe next to, you mentioned Anne Frank, next to Holocaust material, this movie is up there with Schindler's List as far as, like, get the tissues ready, my guy.
Yeah, well, it was one of those ones, I think I realized quickly, maybe not quickly, but at least probably 50 minutes into the movie, that there was not going to be a single happy moment.
Not a moment?
Oh, a single happy moment?
Not a happy moment for Andrew Garfield in this film. I will tell you that. Anguish and agony for that man.
Despair, yeah.
And
yeah, truly. We had never seen it. I didn't even know it was based on a book. Obviously, I think watching it, it's really easy to tell, actually. Mm-hmm. I think it was really adapted exceptionally well. Not that I've seen or read the book, but it's one of those movies where you can just tell, you're like, that was a book. And I feel like sometimes it doesn't always do that.
And you can tell it was a book, and I was kind of like, I want to read the book now. I was like, this is making me, clue me into like, oh, I bet that these characters have a lot of like interesting insight and shit that's in the book that I'm not getting here. But it's giving me enough that I am like asking questions, like wanting to know more, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing of it, is that like, Carrie Mulligan is really our narrator for this. And
Kathy H.
Yes. And she kind of starts us off being like, I just wish we could all go back to like Hilsham when we were all young and we had all of our organs. But here's the thing about that, is that this movie doesn't even give them a happy moment when they're back in Hailsham. Like, there's nothing to even, like, want for, besides, like, you know, getting that sad mixtape from Andrew Garfield, and that's it. And getting stared down by Keira Knightly. Not even happy.
Yeah, no, which is sad. I think that's the point, is like, those were the happiest moments of her life, and they were still pretty dire.
Yeah, devastating.
And even then, so, like, the other kids who went to other schools that weren't Hailsham, like, and didn't get the good treatment, their lives were, like, even worse, because they were just, like, body bags, you know?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, sad as fuck, because, yeah, they zoom back in time, and it's just Andrew Garfield as a little boy getting bullied.
Yeah, and screaming about it, which,
Screaming.
Fair. Yeah. I think his reaction to all of this is reasonable.
So, yeah, he's the only reasonable person here. Actually, I would have just run into the ocean. I would have just killed myself out of spite to be like, you're not getting my kidney, bitch.
Oh, I would have Sylvia Plath myself so quick, dude. Yeah, no.
In the third grade, when Sally Hawkins came up and said, hey, I'm gonna be real with y'all right now. You're not making it past 30, okay? I would have been like,
girl, bye.
Yeet myself out the window.
Yeah, girl, bye.
Strangle myself with a jump rope at the school.
I mean, for those that haven't seen this movie, and I don't know that I can say it's going to be a lot of people, this is, 2010, I think?
Yep, based on a book from 2005.
Yes.
But, and I believe the book is fairly popular, as far as I am aware. Like, it's a pretty well-known book.
Sure.
And I don't know how popular this movie was, because it was not a financial success. I think it did not make back its budget, so it was technically a box office flop. But I feel like people talk about this movie all the time. This has been one. Yeah, I feel like this has been one that I've been like waiting to watch for a really long time. It's like the baby love triangle. Keira Knightly, Andrew Garfield, Carrie Mulligan movie, like the YA dystopian. I just feel like I've known it's sad, so I've never watched it.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that I started, and then I watched maybe up until Sally Hawkins told them they're all body bags, and then I turned it off. But yeah, no, it had sat on my watch list for a long time too, and I think it was just entirely because of that cast.
And I think specifically, like, on Tumblr in 2012, the gift sets of this movie were
that
really
was more so.
off.
Yeah, that was more my
corner. Yeah. So I was like vaguely familiar with Andrew Garfield's haircut, and you were familiar with the fact that they go to the pier from the One Direction
pier. Yes,
music video.
Yes, from You and I, which they barely spend a minute on the pier, but I clocked it so quick. Said, I know you.
Going into it, you said, all I know is they're going to go to the pier from the music video, and I'm ready for it, and my ass is ready for it.
And they barely spent any time on it. They were under the pier. I didn't get the shot that I wanted.
She just sat, like, with her legs all scrunched up. She just, like, Carrie Mulligan just, like, was sitting very demurely on the pier, and then Andrew Garfield, they just, like, had a talk. Yeah, it was, again, a sad as fuck scene. Every scene, sad as fuck.
Yeah.
Every scene of this movie is like, hey, our situation's pretty dire, huh? Yup.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Not much we can do to make this better, huh?
Nope. It's them letting down Donald Gleason, saying, bitch, we don't know what you're talking about. We cannot help you.
He's like, I want to live for just, like, maybe 3 more years. And they were like, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, just so do we get fucked.
So I guess if you haven't seen this movie based on a book, from what I can tell, a pretty good representation, adaptation. I haven't read the book, neither has Emily, but
we'll have to get Jen's input.
It's Jen's month, yeah. My mom, we let my mother Jen pick all the movies this month, and the theme of this week was dystopia, and we got to choose between watching this or Gattaca. And I had just watched Gattaca not that long ago, and it just was okay on a rewatch. Sure. I don't know. I wasn't enthused to watch Gattaca again. Yeah. Like, within a 6-month period. So I was like, let's dive into this new material. And I'm like, maybe we should have watched Gattaca because this was so, like, literally had me in tears.
I did suggest Gattaca. That one was my pick. This was yours. I hate to point the finger.
I will take responsibility. Like, last week, that's on you.
Yes,
I will take responsibility for crying on a fucking Friday night about to go out to a comedy show, trying to set the vibes. We put this movie on, and I'm misty-eyed, crying my makeup off.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is we made it through the whole movie, and then it ends with this sad fucking shot about Carrie Mulligan being like, well, they're harvesting my organs next month. I come out to this field to cry and think about all the people in my life that would wash up here that are gone now. And, like, how do you not bawl your eyes out?
Yeah, it was just like...
that
should be like a litmus test of, like, of human emotion. That's, instead of the art gallery, they just make you watch this, and if you don't get misty-eyed, they're like, okay,
chopped.
To the organ factory. Like, to the factory farm, okay?
Oh, you obviously do not have any sort of empathy in your body if you're not crying, so...
But I did not know what this was going to be about. So all of this, as it was unfolding, was, like, kind of hitting me in real time. And this movie sort of, it's vague on purpose so that you sort of learn as it unfolds.
Yeah.
But you sort of plunge straight in with the characters that our narrator, Kathy H., which is Carrie Mulligan. She's like, oh, I'm a carer, and this is Andrew Garfield, and he's about to die. And then we get a hard flashback to when they're at school. And we get this sort of upbringing, and then the sort of Sally Hawkins dropping the bomb that, hey, you guys are clones of other people. She doesn't say that explicitly, but, it's sort of all inferred. Like, you guys are, like, genetically made people, and we're just gonna, the government or whoever is just gonna raise you, keep you, alive until you're, a healthy adult.
Sure.
Late 20s, let's say, and then we're gonna start harvesting those organs because we got a title card that said, like, 100 years ago they made a discovery that made or it was like 1967 or something. They made a discovery that,
like, cured
the life expectancy. Yeah, the life expectancy is now well beyond 100, and the solution is that they have these people that they basically factory farm people for their organs, right? Organ farms. But we get the story of the organ donors, the farm victims, I guess, the chickens, if you will.
Yeah.
And, so it's their time at school and then them learning, and then Keira Knightley, Andrew Garfield, and Carrie Mulligan getting into this sort of love triangle while they're at school. It's like he is a really emotionally eruptive young boy, and they both sort of kind of come to his aid when he gets bullied and when he's upset and stuff, and they both sort of console him. But then Keira Knightley's character, younger version, played by fucking baby,
oh my god, Ella
Purnell, from the fucking with the big eyes from
I could spot
Yellow
those
Jackets.
things. I could spot those things from a mile away.
Fallout. What else is she in? Is she in any movies?
Definitely, but nothing that's coming to mind.
But yeah,
this movie.
Clock that 12-year-old actress.
Oh, yes. Which I did think that her child casting was pretty good. The Kathy H one was The Andrew Garfield one, bad.
Was not great, yeah.
It was pretty bad.
I thought that the Carrie Mulligan younger casting was really good.
Okay.
I thought that little girl looked just like her. And the mannerisms, too. I'm like, she's trying to be little Carrie Mulligan.
Oh, she was acting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know how good the child acting was, but I thought the casting was, like, pretty dead on. I don't know. The bangs, those fuck-ass bangs they gave her. Oh, and I'm sorry, the hair in this movie is, like, an entire...
It's a character in itself. It was certainly 2010.
But they get into this love triangle throughout their youth while they're in school. And Keira Knightley's character sort of does it like more out of spite or just like wanting to stir the pot. But she ends up dating him for like a decade. Like they start being together when they're like presumably in like
12.
Middle school age or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
We follow them like well into their early adulthood when they're still together.
Until Andrew Garfield is being ridden and is like apathetic about it.
Yeah, right.
Could you imagine having Keira Knightley on top of you and just being
feeling and being bored? Yeah. Yeah, acting. Wow.
But anyways, yeah, in the book, sorry.
But I guess the book is a lot more about them like this movie does show their like sexual exploration because then we sort of fast forward after they graduate school, they get put in these sort of like cottages where like, from like, 16 up, they just sort of live and exist, and they're like allowed to go on day trips to the city and stuff, but they don't really do anything. Sure. And they're allowed to be carers, which is when you apply to basically just like be a personal aid for a donor who's like in the process of getting their shit taken out. Which is what Carrie Mulligan's character like ends up doing, but we sort of get to pause and take like an act of the movie to be with them while they're like, like middle-aged for them. Basically.
Yeah, like college age.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna die eventually, so I gotta like do what I can.
Yeah.
And they don't let them eat bad foods and they don't let them smoke or drink really. So all they can really do is like hang out and fuck and like look at porn basically.
Read a book.
I guess there is more in the book about them. Like I guess Kathy H's character in the book goes off and does a lot more sexual exploration. Good. Basically being like, I am only alive for so long and this is just like a thing.
I better figure out how to make myself come.
And Tommy is with Ruth, right? And I can't have that, so I might as well. And then it's more about Ruth bullying Kathy, like, well, Tommy would never get with you because you're a slut. Like, you've slept around. And it was more like that angle, I think, in the book.
Interesting, because that's not at all
from my skimming of the Wikipedia. Yeah, she's more bullying her for her being like a prude or like not knowing,
or just like,
so it's like
I don't know.
Bit different.
It just felt very pointed in general. Like obviously, and you learn further into the movie. Like obviously, Keira Knightley is tuned in and like knows that Kathy and Tommy should have been together. It's a whole big scene and a confession and like an apology. But she's a fucking bitch to Carrie Mulligan. Oh my god. She does some like real messed up shit. She's having like really loud aggressive sex, probably on purpose, in the next room, and then comes in and sees Carrie Mulligan, again, still listening to this tape recorder that Andrew Garfield had given her like 10 years ago, and does like, you said it really best. It was like a Jennifer Lawrence kiss in American Hustle, like a hate kiss.
Like an aggro, like I'm doming you in this situation.
Yeah.
Sort of like, I'm going to come in and tell you what the fuck is what.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a little smooch and there's nothing you can do about it. It was like a mean girl kiss.
He'll never love you. Your pussy is dried up. get fucked. Mwah.
Basically. Smooch,
Yeah,
smooch. But
absolutely nuts.
I feel like...
Which, like, to a point, I would be very turned on if Keira Knightley did that to me. But also, I would have been horrified. Carrie Mulligan was crying. I would have been crying as well.
It was scary.
It was
Her
scary.
delivery, it was intimidating because she is like a pretty mean girl. I guess the director, to sidebar, the director said it was really hard to make Keira Knightley look plain. Like, all the people are supposed to look really plain. They just put them in very plain clothes. And he's like, yeah, just like no makeup. Like, we tried to make her hair look more greasy, but she's just like was so radiant and glowing. It was just like hard to make her look like bad for this movie.
Well, no wonder they gave all of these people the fuck-ass wigs that they're wearing.
Right.
Because, I mean, it was the only thing that they could do at that point, you know? Andrew Garfield's was horrific until they buzz it, which is also bad. Yeah, Keira Knightley has like this weird fringe,
bangs.
and then it's got like
bangs.
it's got like a half bang almost, where it's like
a Cher. Right. It's like a Cher moment, but it's like they're not styling it, so it's like an
not well done.
Cher haircut.
Yeah. Carrie Mulligan has like this crimped wave sort of thing going on.
Crazy.
It's like, and it's like a bowl cut at the front of it. It's really, I mean, the Bushwick lesbians could learn a thing or two from this movie.
Like a wolf cut, but also like scene girl almost, like scene bangs, like all the way to the back. With kind of
I would say
almost.
scene bangs, but Andrew Garfield is the one that has the most scene haircut, like
the sceniest of scene bangs.
Yeah, like truly, like it wraps around his entire head like a bowl.
It's like a sculptural headpiece,
almost
more
like
than anything.
like a tornado, kind of just wrapping around his head continually. It's like that.
But I feel like once as children, they learn, like, hey, you're gonna be an organ donor, we're gonna harvest your organs until you die, about probably at like 30-something.
Yeah.
I'm Sally Hawkins, this is the deal. I feel like from that moment on, Ruth, Keira Knightley's character, she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna spend my time on this earth stirring the pot then. She's like, if I only have a short time to be here, I'm gonna make it interesting. I'm gonna cause some drama, which I can't blame her for. I feel like Carrie Mulligan's character, she's like, I'm gonna spend my time yearning. I'll just yearn and yearn and yearn. And Andrew Garfield's character is like, well, I'll just scream at the sky. He's the only reasonable one.
Yes, I would be him in this situation. Yeah, Ruth decides, she's like, well, if I'm gonna only have 30 years to live, I want to get locked down with that dick.
Right. Yeah. Which is reasonable as well. So I'm gonna be kind of a Ruth apologist. She's a bitch, but I'm gonna be kind of a Ruth apologist here for a second.
I can totally understand her logic and her thinking. And she comes clean during this big confession, and she was like, I just dated Tommy because I didn't want to be the one left alone. I know this was really wrong of me. I'm so sorry. And they can't really...
Which is fair. Which is like, like she was in the wrong, and her owning up to it is like the peak of the movie, where then finally Carrie Mulligan and Andrew Garfield get to be together for the rest of the movie. And basically then the third act is just Carrie Mulligan being his like caretaker, but also boyfriend. And then they're gonna like try to get the extension to see if he can live a little longer. And then they're like, that's not a real thing. You guys are just organ donors. That's not a real thing.
And that's the movie.
And that's the movie.
But yeah, you pointed out,
but the big apology that she gives, she's like, I feel really awful I kept you guys apart, but now you guys can be together. But then she keeps going and is like I am the worst person alive. This is my most grave mistake. Whatever.
Yeah, as if Andrew Garfield didn't also play a role in this.
But I'm like, were you guys not together for the better part of a decade? Like, you still were together. You guys could have broken up at any moment. For her to say, like, oh, I manipulated you the whole time, I'm like, I don't know, girl.
That's kind of giving, like...
Give yourself some grace, okay?
Yeah, a little bit. But also, like, yeah, it takes two to tango. Andrew Garfield was also here and involved, and not a passive team, you know?
Right.
Like, he also has to be... Like, he didn't break up with you either.
Yeah, real.
No, I think that...
Yeah, that side of it, I was kind of like, okay. Yeah. But then it was just sort of like, we all move on, and Kathy H. And Tommy D get to be together, which is beautiful. Even
and Ruth
though he's
completes.
halfway... And Ruth then shortly completes thereafter.
Yeah,
she says, "I got this off my chest, and now we get to die."
Exactly.
So the completion process.
Yes, we haven't talked about the verbiage, I guess, of this movie.
Yeah, so they complete means die, and then donation means that the harvesting. They put you under
of a major organ,
what they need, and they stitch you back up. But it seems like, so a lot of them continue to live after their first and second and occasionally third donations. Like, we see a lot of amputees, and we see a lot of people who are like bedridden and stuff, but they can't be taking like lungs. You can't live without your lungs. So they must just be taking...
I can take one.
I suppose. Yeah, and I guess in this future, if they're putting people on like fucking iron,
which like that's the whole thing.
States,
is that it's like, I mean, you watch it with Keira Knightly, is like they make it obvious at the beginning. They're like, we will take your major organs. And obviously it affects them. You watch Keira Knightly wither away. She probably doesn't have fucking pancreas or some shit. No, you don't need your pancreas, right? Do you? I can't remember.
Well, you need... Emily, you kind of need all of it.
Sure, yeah. Not your appendix. That one is useless.
Oh, sure. And yeah, maybe tonsils. Those can
Exactly.
I'm like, round one, you can take my adenoids, my tonsils.
Yeah, please.
Maybe a big toe, and I'm out.
But yeah, like, that's the whole thing, is like, you slowly like watch them wither away, really. And Andrew Garfield, Andrew Garfield takes his like a champ, but Keira Knightly, not doing too well. She wants to die.
That would be me, though. One and done. They'd be like, we're just doing some light dental work. And I'm like, I see the light. And they're like, we haven't even put you under yet, girl. And I'm like, no, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's like, I mean, I think one of the, probably, at least in my opinion, one of the most like disturbing scenes is watching them take out Keira Knightly's full set of lungs, plop them in the tray, and you just watch
into the bag.
Yeah, and you just watch
into
her
the
flat line. Which,
right,
like,
into the box
obviously,
freezer.
Yeah, like, you're happy for her because she did want to die, but, like, Jesus Christ, that visual, like, there's a lot of things in this movie I think are visually really mild and very British. That was definitely the one that, like, made me, like, jump out of my seat a little bit, because, like, oh, that was rough!
Yeah, I would also say, like, this is, like, a science fiction or, like, dystopian future-y movie, but it does not feel, like, futuristic in the way that it actually feels rather, like, old-timey and quaint, and we don't see a lot of, like, high-techy stuff because we get it just from the perspective of these, like, people who are a part of the system, so, which I can appreciate. So, I feel like, rewind, did I even mention this? Because we were talking about what a good book-to-movie adaptation this presumably is, as people who are just inferring from watching the movie, but it was screenplay written by Alex Garland, who Ex Machina, he directed and wrote that. He also a lot of other stuff. Men, he did a bunch of A24
he did
stuff
a recent
recently.
One. Shit. I don't know.
Civil War.
That one.
Kirsten Dunst. It was that one. But he's very much, I feel, like a sci-fi future dystopian stories that are like don't use a lot of like flashy sci-fi elements.
Sure.
I feel like that's sort of his shtick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's his vibe. So it did not surprise me at all to learn that he wrote the screenplay.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you there. Just feel very contained, I suppose. Which I think, Ex Machina, obviously, it's like that's the whole thing. It's in a very contained setting. I don't know. I haven't seen.
And we don't have to learn. Like we don't have to learn about the whole system to understand this experience that's happening to this one person in this environment. You know,
exactly.
Which I feel like is a pretty cool approach, like a good approach to screenwriting.
Yeah, totally agree with you there.
Jen, I have a bone to pick. Why the hell are you trying to make me cry in the club after watching this movie? Oh my god, neither of us had ever seen this before, and we were shattered.
This was a lot, Jen. This was not something I would have expected out of you.
It was a lot. It was, I just remember reading it and being like totally...
destroyed?
Yeah. And then... I don't know. I wasn't really into the dystopian stuff, but this was one I embraced back in the day.
Yeah, so you read the book, and you really liked the book, and then you also enjoyed the movie as well, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, and you thought it was like a pretty good book to movie adaptation.
Yes.
All right, because we've been speculating about that, but obviously neither of us have read the book, and we just saw the movie, so we wanted to sort of pick your brain about why you enjoyed this so much.
Enjoyed, just remembered, like,
real, yeah, super different.
Yeah,
like definitely.
Jen, if we were crying at the very end of this, I could imagine you watching this. You'd be crying throughout a good chunk of it.
Oh man, exactly.
Opposite of devastating, you're here to do your interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla, that we all love so much. You just pop by halfway through the episode and you just say two things and we all say which one we like better. It's a hoot, it's a holler. Is there a theme this week?
So kind of. First of all, thanks for having me. This will be my COVID edition, though, if I cough.
Everyone send some healing energy through the podcast airwaves to Jen.
So these are, since the book was 2005 and the movie was 2010, some of these are things from 2005 versus 2010.
Slay.
And then some of them at the end are movies that had 3 or more people who've ever been nominated for an Oscar.
Okay.
Yeah. So many people in this movie, right? Because also Sally Hawkins and also has Donald Gleason been nominated for an Oscar? He deserves it if he hasn't.
Doubtful, honestly, but
hella stacked cast.
Love that man.
I love a little mixed bag theme. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, or Inception. So a movie from 2005, movie from 2010.
Chocolate. And do we want to? I'm sorry. Do we want to run that back?
No, that's funny.
No, that's okay. No, go for it.
So chocolate, and then I guess I probably Revenge of the Sith. I'll pick Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, all right. And
I love me some Interstellar, but I love a Star Wars prequel.
Yeah,
I think
if we're
even
getting,
more.
if we're starting off this way, I'm gonna go for the luxury. I'm gonna say chocolate, and then I'm also gonna go with Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, I'm gonna go chocolate too, and I will go also Revenge of the Sith because I didn't understand Inception,
and that's fair.
Next one is American Hustle or Silver Linings Playbook. Multiple Oscar nom movies.
I've never seen Silver Linings Playbook, and I do not care to unless Emily holds me at gunpoint and makes me watch it for this podcast. I have no interest. That day may come, and I will reserve space for it if need be.
Sure.
But just it's not on my radar. And American Hustle I thought was fine and had Christian Bale in it, so I'll pick that one.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Silver Linings Playbook. Jennifer Lawrence is of course phenomenal and that much well deserved that Oscar. And also because the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and that is a huge point of the plot for that movie.
Heavy movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Silver Linings. For Robert De Niro.
Did you guys watch The Big Game?
I did, actually.
I did.
Wow. Oh, wow. I'm outnumbered. I did not. I saw some clips on Twitter, though, this morning, and I got the recaps. I got the highlights.
Yeah.
So, what's the consensus? Did we enjoy it?
It was a pretty boring game, honestly, because...
Yeah, it was a blowout. There wasn't close at all.
So... It was just kind of like I was on my phone making sure that the Chiefs weren't scoring, and that was it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was fine. Kendrick was good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to pick... I'm going to go American Hustle, though, because I didn't think Silver Linings was that good a book or a movie. Sorry.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know it was a book, actually.
Yeah.
It's called Silver Linings Playbook.
Well, yes.
Let's see. Next one. Cargo pants or biker shorts? So fashion from 2005 or 10.
Biker shorts were biker shorts big in 2010? I feel like biker shorts are also kind of back now.
Biker
short. You know, like they come to just above your knee and they're like kind of fitted. They're like athletic, like biker shorts.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And then what was my option from 2005? Sorry.
cargo pants.
Cargo pants. I also rock a cargo pant on occasion. I love a lot of pockets, but I like a bicycle. What are they called? Bicycle pants? Bicycle shorts?
Biker shorts.
Bike shorts?
Bike shorts.
Biker shorts. I'll pick the biker shorts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go biker shorts on this one. Princess Diana, obviously that sort of style, undeniable.
I will go with cargo pants. Gold Digger by Kanye or Dynamite by Teo Cruz.
Wow. And in a world where I will choose the objectively worst thing because fuck Kanye West and fuck everyone who's apologizing for Kanye West and letting him continue to just be in the public eye, like, oh my fucking god, Gold Digger is an okay song. Graduation was a pretty good album. Kanye made some pretty good music back in the day, but he needs to be put down.
He's a literal Nazi.
He needs to, be put away. So, oh my god. Teo Cruz is looking like an unproblematic fave right now.
Absolutely. Have to jump on this train with Dara.
Teo Cruz for the sweep. Next one is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once or The Favorite.
Just for like big Oscar casts?
3 or more nominated.
I will pick Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, although I will say that both are really great movies.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But Everything Everywhere does have a soft spot in my heart.
Same, I thought this would be a tough one, but I'll go with Everything. Photograph by Nickelback or Misery by Maroon 5?
Oh, Nickelback is awful, but Maroon 5 is also kind of awful. But Maroon 5 was like okay. At a certain point in time, Maroon 5 was like unoffensive and fine enough, I guess. So I guess I'll pick Misery.
I'm gonna go Nickelback on this one for the meme of it, I guess.
Okay, I'll go Nickelback. I saw Nickelback and Daughtry in concert.
That is a meme.
That checks out.
That is a real life. That's a meme that happened to you.
And my high school friend got in a fight with somebody. I have no idea why. I can't even remember.
Oh my god.
That makes sense. That checks. At the Daughtry concert, that checks.
Mm-hmm. Next one, 3 Billboards or Oppenheimer?
Oppenheimer.
I guess I'll go Oppenheimer on this one.
I'll go Oppenheimer also. Next one, the iPod Shuffle or the Lady Gaga meat dress?
Both were very impactful.
Yeah.
To my life.
Yeah, really.
Both the iPod Shuffle, the iPod Nano was a bit more revolutionary to me personally. As the Shuffle, I actually do still listen to my music though. I just put my library on Shuffle though. Did the iPod Shuffle orchestrate how I listen to music for the rest of my life? Maybe. So I guess I'll pick that because I bet that meat dress smelled crazy.
Certainly true, but I'm gonna choose the meat dress for her iconic nature.
Lady Gaga reheated her nachos.
Of course,
are so bad.
we're back.
Abracadabra, we're so fucking bad.
I'm gonna go with the Shuffle. I loved my Shuffle. And last one, MySpace or Facebook?
MySpace.
Yeah. It died when it needed to, and we let it rest.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And fuck Facebook. Fuck all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never been on either of these, but I will go MySpace. And that is it.
Jen's subtle flex that she's better than everyone.
Yeah, right.
No, God.
I've never been on social media before.
I'm not really one of those people.
No, can't be bothered.
Can't relate.
And that is it for my kind of lame.
Quick in and out. That's okay.
Quick and
You're
dirty.
Sick, so
yeah.
And you did let us express some opinions here today. And
exactly.
You did make us watch this really fucking sad, but objectively pretty good movie.
Pretty good.
So thank you for that.
You thought it was good. Like, you worth seeing. Yeah. Glad you saw it, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and thank you. We love you. And we'll see you next week.
Okay. I love you guys. Have an awesome night.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Andrew Garfield looks haggard and how he really can just donate like a champ, but he just keeps donating and like he's fine. And honestly, I feel like, so Kathy gets a bunch of like deferrals, not actual deferrals, but Kathy gets to sort of delay her start of her donations because she's a carer.
Yeah.
So after she gets confronted by Keira Knightly about, hey, you are nothing, you'll never be with Andrew Garfield. She basically applies to be a nurse. And she's like, peace out. I'm not going to see you guys for another 10 years because I'm going to go do nurse training.
Yeah.
And she basically gets to drive around the country and like hang out and be like, a personal aide.
And help people die.
Who are in their organ donation process, which is so fucking sad. But she also, we get a lot
sad.
of lines about her being like, I like finding a purpose in this short time I have in the world. And like, I like feeling like I can make an impact on, like, which is, so fucking crazy to get into that level of like, how would you feel if you knew they were going to chop you at 30? Like,
right.
Total different, life perspective to think about. And the way that they all deal with it is like very different. But she gets to, like, delay her process a little bit because she's this nurse. It seems like, because Keira Knightly and Andrew Garfield both start going through their donations, and she gets to kind of just, like, hang back a little bit. So she has to watch them both die, basically. Yeah. And then at the very end, she's like, and now I'm going to start mine. But I kind of wanted to make the argument, if I was going to, like, step in and be like, hey, if you want to practice your speech, because once they finally get together, they go to the house of the madam who ran the art gallery at their elementary school, and they thought that maybe she was like collecting art to see which kids were like maybe gifted, and that way they could be saved, which is their assumption. That was their interpretation of getting their artwork taken as children. But then they get there, and that's the big bomb of like, oh, we were just housing you with a little bit of humanity to try to prove to the outside world that you guys were like worth taking care of. Whereas at other places, it was like dire conditions. So they were like, we just produced this artwork to like show that you guys had humanity even in you at all.
I think the line was like, oh no, this gallery and this artwork wasn't to like look into your souls. This was to see if you had them.
Yeah, wild. And so Andrew Garfield
crashes out.
This is where it's starting to get emotional.
Oh, yeah, this is horrible.
Over the years, Andrew Garfield was like, they never took any of my art as a kid, so they're not going to know me when we go to ask to not die. So I have to learn how to do art. So he spends all his time in his recovery hospital rooms drawing
and making beautiful art.
All these drawings because he's like, they need a submission from me. So sad. And then they go and he tries to show this lady his art and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. This is not a real thing. Yeah. But at this moment, I would have been like, lady, this is presumably after his third. He's done three. Is it after his second or after
I think
his
second.
Third? After second? Okay. And he goes in and he does presumably die after the third.
Yes.
And after this. So I guess it wouldn't have worked out either way. But I feel like there should be a contract for if you make it after 3 and you want to live, you can sign something. Like if you're like, this is awful, not having major organs, I want to go. Sure. They can just do a fourth and boot you, you know?
Yeah, right?
But I feel like after three, and if they still want to live, I'm like, let them go. Let them go after 3.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask?
Would you want to? Okay, because here's the thing, is if you're in this position, I think I would just want to, I don't think I would be a carer. I don't think I could deal, like, with the death that's already coming for me and then, like, surrounding myself with it. Not for me. I'd be fucking around doing the same thing that Kathy H. did in the book, getting dicked down, figuring my shit out. And then I'm hoping that I die after my first
one
donation.
Yeah, for real.
That's ideal.
I would say being the carer is really just too specifically sad, but if they gave them options to, like, do other things, like, you gotta do something.
Can I read to the ones that had their eyeballs plucked out?
Yeah, right. Yeah, can I, like, I'll do stand up for the ones who just all went blind or something, like.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
Right, like, yeah, give back to the community, because I really did understand Kathy H. when she's like, no matter how dire all of this feels, you still have to, like, feel like you do something, like, you still have to get up in the morning and do something to feel like a person.
Oh,
like,
yeah, of course.
That really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this whole movie is about, is, like, feeling like a person, right? Like, when you have this destiny, like, what do you make of your personhood during the time you have, and, like, how do you, navigate that, like, that looming expiration date. And, like, is it worth it to get involved in, like, love at all? Because it just seems to be so fucking heartbreaking. But it's like, what did they have if not each other? Wow. A beautiful meditation on the human condition.
Yeah, truly.
But it was just so fucking
So sad.
sad.
So brutally sad. Well, I would say, okay, for me, the happiest moment of this entire movie was watching Andrew Garfield run down to the boat with his little hands tucked. His run, oh my god. It's you know when you watch someone run and you can just tell they have their little hands balled up into fists, like holding onto their sweater sleeves?
Well, especially because they were on the beach and you could tell because they were in England that it's cold as fuck.
Of course.
I'm like, oh my god, it was
so cute.
a chilly little day down there and he's running out to the boat.
That was my favorite scene. Watching him
he's a
crawl
cutie
around the boat
patootie.
like a little boy.
Watching him die on the operation table.
Not that specifically. I love Andrew Garfield, and we got to see him British in this one, so.
I often forget he's British because of how often he isn't.
Yeah.
I feel like
He's pretty
never.
Well,
but these days, more so.
Speaking of Andrew Garfield, did you see Miss Chicken Shop date Amelia de Moldenberg has a new boyfriend, and it's not Andrew Garfield? It's some predator.
I was just going to say, isn't he an abuser? All I saw was the tweet being like, ew, he's an abuser. And I didn't read anything further than that or fact check any of that information.
Yes.
But I believed it because I believe when people say a famous man has abused his power, that is like, well, yeah, obviously.
Adam Faze.
What's his deal? Do
I
we know?
don't know. Oh, he dated Olivia Rodrigo. That already makes me unsettled because she is a child.
Oh, right. He dated Olivia Rodrigo and she was far too young for that to be appropriate. Right.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, but whatever. Amelia's loss, unfortunately. I would have loved to see those two get together. That shit was electric. Honestly.
Yeah. I know everyone like was yearning for the rom-com for a hot moment in time.
I would have thrown money at it.
Oh, who just got cast in a rom-com, but then it was like directed by Lena Dunham, and so then everyone's really
Oh, yeah, hold on. No, who was it? Natalie Portman. That's crazy.
Natalie Portman and Lena Dunham rom-com. Okay, yeah, that's I actually don't. I don't need any part of that.
Follows a woman who falls for a Brooklyn hipster in his 20s just as she begins a promising relationship with a successful businessman in his 50s. Why are we still using the word hipster today? Those don't exist anymore. Those don't exist anymore. That is a bygone era, Lena Dunham.
Oh my god.
Stick
we call
to
them
girls.
elder millennials now.
Yeah.
Now we call them elder millennials. If you're still wearing an infinity scarf and a fucking, what would even quantify you as a hipster? Like a little mustache. If you have a little mustache tattoo on the side of your finger.
Well, at that point, we just take you out back and shoot you in the back of the head.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that. I don't know. That feels icky to me, but Lena Dunham feels icky to me in general. So, yeah. Speaking of, there's been a lot of Oscar drama. Maybe not a lot, but certainly.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always Oscar drama.
Yeah.
But I mean, as always, Emilia Perez just continues to crash out.
I love
which
it.
we knew. Like, it's almost like, I feel like I have a theory that this was like made on purpose as like a spectacle to generate this sort of like controversy. Like, I feel like we all know this movie was not genuine to begin with. Like, this French man making this Spanish movie, like the whole thing is just a dumpster fire. And I almost am like, now I'm like putting my tinfoil hat on because Miss Carla Sofia Gascon, the trans actress who's the lead in the film, like a bunch of stuff got unsurfaced, a bunch of really problematic stuff she said in the past, but like the recent enough past that people
like
are
maybe
like,
2 years ago.
Whoa. And it was like, it was Nazi stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, but
I think it was like it was just
so racist.
Yeah, like saying
deeply racist,
like dehumanizing
tweets.
like Middle Eastern people.
Right, and also like saying like that the Oscars seem like an Afro-Korean protest festival and just
Sure.
like a lot of like weird offhanded comments that just
I love the one
her in
that
a
was
really bad light.
I love the one that was her shitting on Selena Gomez though.
Oh my god, I didn't see that.
That's
yeah.
It
Kind
was
of funny.
Yeah, it was talking about how she's a bad actress and like how the media talks. I don't know, just is always on her about her relationship and no one cares.
Yikes.
Yeah, some shit like that. Which also, honestly, she cleared her. But, yeah, it's. I didn't actually do the deep dive. I don't think I read any of the actual tweets. I just know that they're pretty fucked up.
Right. Yeah. And the cancellation seemed valid across the board, of course, but so I feel like
we talked about this beforehand. Netflix's
just like the immediate dismissal of her from like the staff. It seems to just not include her in any more like press stuff, or it seems like will she be at the award shows? We'll have to see.
She's not being funded by Netflix, any of her travel, any of her expenses like that, so she'll have to pay out of pocket if she does go.
Yeah, they cut her off, and it seems like they're just like they're making a statement like, hey, we're distancing ourselves from her. We openly address that it's like disconnecting, which is all good and fine, but it does just like obviously sit a little the wrong way with all of us when so many abusers and people who do shitty stuff and say shitty stuff are openly, presented, given these awards, not just invited to the shows. But
Roman Polanski.
Literally, like letting them get up on stage and make speeches and shit. And the dismissal of Carla is fine, but you have to hold everyone to that standard then. And just the way that they were so quick to dismiss a trans woman, but they would never treat a cis white man or really so many other people in the industry that they would just never treat this way. And that's not in defense of her. That's just like, it's just a glaring, obvious way that this was handled that is not the standard. And I'm like, well, why isn't it? Then if it was that easy for you to cut her off, then you can cut off everyone else who has abuse allegations against them as well. Like,
let's keep
what
this
is the
energy
issue then?
Going.
What is the issue then?
Keep
Netflix?
it rolling, girls.
Like pissing me off, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, but also news, and then Zoe Saldana is still prospected to win Best Supported Actress. Like, she's generally
it's unbelievable.
The favorable choice.
It's actually unbelievable
at this moment. So it is just such a weird mixture of the way that this movie is and the current conversation, because it's just it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Do we like it? Do we not like it? No, we don't like it. Why are we still celebrating it? It's not. No, we don't like it. We're no longer pretending that we like this movie.
Yeah. I don't
Hollywood.
know,
Pissing me off. But
yeah, I mean, in later news, Timothée Chalamet continues to stun in the most heartbreaking and earnest Oscar campaign that I have ever seen. He's in Tokyo, hanging out. He looks phenomenal. I'm geeked on it.
He's shooting for the moon, and he's gonna land amongst the stars, babe, because you're not winning that award, but you did get to wear some cutie outfits along the way, didn't you?
Exactly. He was posted up with that little monkey chain. I said, I'm here for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I still haven't seen the fucking movie.
I've seen it twice now, actually, and I still think that he should be nominated for Dune 2. Instead of this. His performance in Dune 2 is far superior to his performance in Bob Dylan.
I'm sure.
But maybe, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
Who's to say? Should we regularly sketch?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's get into it.
It's so hard to fuck, marry, kill the three main characters of this movie, because are we just doing it within the pretext that we are also organ donors?
I'm dying. I'm gonna die.
Let's add ourselves in as a fourth member of this love triangle. Let's make it a love quadrangle. Okay. And then
I'm taking Keira Knightly off of his hands. I'm making this good for everyone. I'm getting really I'm a fully involved in the sex kind of person. I'm not just laying there like Andrew Garfield. Sure. We're gonna les out for 5 years, and then maybe we die holding each other's hands. Yeah, one of those things. I'll let the other
operating
two
table.
Yeah, so I guess I'll marry her. I'll maybe I don't even know. Maybe fuck Andrew Garfield, but it's just I let him tell me what he's interested in, and like actually like he can have some time to explore what he really wants, because he did not seem taken with Keira.
No. But
guess
he
I have
seems...
to, do I have to kill Kathy H?
Yeah.
I think it would save her a lot of pain, honestly. She just watched her 2 old friends die, so I think in my world, I'll make her die first, so she doesn't have to go through that.
See, I feel like I'm going to take a similar stance, but I'm going to do a different thing from you, and
Please.
I'm going to marry Kathy H, and I'm just going to solve the situation, right? I'm just going to be her partner, so
By
then
giving
she
her
doesn't
the
feel
love and
so
attention
lonely
she
all the time.
deserves, yes.
She doesn't have to yearn after Andrew Garfield, because,
Sure.
like, I'm here for you, babe.
Sure.
And I'm going to be with Carrie Mulligan, Kathy H, and I'll maybe also get a scene haircut, so we can, like, be scene girlfriends in the organ farm together. Like, that seems about a good of way to pass the time as anything, right?
Fuck it. Yeah.
And then I think, similarly, I will fuck Keira Knightley because she seemed like she wanted to have a good time. And if she wants to be a mean, manipulative bitch to me, then I think that is fine.
She can do it in the bedroom, then.
Then I am here for that. And then I'm going to kill Andrew Garfield because, again, you made a good point. He was complicit in all this as well. Ruth, why are you taking so much guilt on yourself? Tommy, you were literally with her for 10 years, and if you didn't really love her, you have to be like, dude, I'm going to die at 30. You can't spend 10 years dating a girl you don't actually like that much.
Thank you.
That's on you as well. So I'm going to kill your ass.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
And then out of the whole movie, I'm going to marry Sally Hawkins after she drops that bomb on the children, and we can open our own sanctuary school for the organ children or something. Because she seemed to have it like going the right way.
Morals.
Oh, fuck. Donald Gleason.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure, why not?
And then I'll kill, I don't know, who is a bitch?
The headmistress?
I'll kill the headmistress. Sure.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, definitely marrying Sally Hawkins. I'm still gonna fuck Keira Knightley and I'll kill Kathy. I'll stick with that.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kathy H.
And then, I mean, we talked about this before, but like, this isn't really a movie that you eat and drink with.
Yeah, it's like it's so goddamn sad that it's like I'm sick to my stomach
Like,
sad.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, like, I'll make a snack for just about anything, but this is like tea. The only thing I think I can consciously like tell you to drink is maybe like a chai or like a London Fog, something like really nice and like actually like just gonna warm your soul and your spirit a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like maybe like a white bean kale soup, like something super like just
healthy and hearty.
Like what are they feeding these organ donors to keep them like healthy but like also just alive? Like they don't need to thrive. They just some like a brothy soup and some toast.
That's
and then,
about
like,
it.
A sad cup of tea. Yeah, a really a warm brothy meal. I think is what like hospital food. Like actually maybe like a Jello cup. Like hospital food.
Think Panera.
oh yeah, just order out Panera.
Honestly. Yeah, that actually might be your best bet.
That's kind of that's kind of a vibe.
Do the half soup, half sandwich, and call it a day. And then you get the charged lemonade that they don't serve anymore, and that's the thing that actually kills you.
I was gonna say, get the charged lemonade, which would kill Kathy H, which would put Kathy H on her ass.
Yeah, truly. Oh God, what do you watch after this? I didn't even think this far. The Shape of Water, honestly.
Oh, that could be like, yeah, let's get Sally Hawkins somewhere.
Because I want more Sally, and we don't get a lot of her in this, but if she's going to be somewhere, she's showing up in a British sci-fi. So I think I'm going Shape of Water, actually.
I'm trying to think of another organ donation movie. Like, My Sister's Keeper.
Oh, God.
No, that's awful. That's an awful suggestion.
That's one that I watch on my reels every now and then. That,
no.
comes up a lot.
Oh, do you know what, so the author of the book, Kazuo Ishiguro, he also wrote, The Remains of the Day, And do you know this? It's a really famous book, and then it was made into a movie, and I think Anthony Hopkins is in it.
Sounds
and
familiar.
Emma Thomas, Remains of the Day, but I had never seen it.
Oh, yes,
but if
yes.
But if it's based off of another book written by
This guy.
Kazuo Ishiguro, I feel like I'm interested in, because like this concept is like pretty unique and interesting to me. So I would be interested in checking out the movie adaptation of his other book.
Can't get behind that.
Remains of the Day. I've never seen it. I believe it's from the 90s.
Sure.
And then what are you going to give this out of 10? I'm going to give it like a 6.75.
What did I letterbox it?
It's almost a 7. It's like a 3.5 star.
I give
3.5 out of
it
5
a
star.
3. Yeah. So I guess 6.
But out of 10, but like I feel like I did really like it, and it was really different, and it
Yeah.
was unlike anything I had seen before, and I understand its place in like the canon, because it's interesting because it's like dystopian, but it's not quite YA dystopian, because
No.
we do get them like into adulthood a little bit, but I could understand why the book might be like conflated with YA material, because we do follow them in their young adulthood for the majority
Yeah.
of the story.
Yeah.
But I don't think this book, as a library employee, I don't think this book would be categorized in a young
YA.
adult section. I think they would put this just like in normal fiction. But as far as like YA adaptations, this definitely felt like way different. Not as YA, but like dystopian. You know, compared to the more YA stuff, which feels a little bit more like hokey, like Divergent that we just covered, and even like Hunger Games and stuff. I don't know. This was just like a cool, different take, and so I did like it. So I'll actually give it a 7.
Nice.
I really did like this one,
Yeah,
and I thought the performances. It was really interesting to see like 25-year-old Andrew Garfield, Carrie Mulligan, Keira Knightly, because they all just are such revered actors now that it was like cool to see really good performances from them at such a young age as well. Because it's like, of course, they've always been like consummate professionals. I feel like all of them across the board I respect as actors.
Certainly.
And would say that I like have stuff in their body of work that I enjoy. For everyone in this movie, really. This is a great cast.
Absolutely. Amazing cast. I think I really liked the pacing of this movie. It's just, it's really gray, and it's really sad.
It's so sad. Yeah, it is so goddamn
it's
sad.
not going to be something that I watch again, probably in less than 10 years, but hopefully again eventually, and maybe I'll get something else new out of it whenever that is.
This feels to me kind of like one that might be good to put on when you're sick and on the couch, and you're like only like at 30% mental capacity. But you put this movie on because in the background you're like, damn, like my nostrils may be congested as fuck and I can't really breathe right now, but at least I'm not a fucking organ donor. God, Kathy H. Right? Like,
that's a good idea, actually.
Watching this movie. This feels like
it is a sick movie. It is a sick
like
movie.
Like a sympathy sick movie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Real. A little too real.
A little too real. Well, thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, we're continuing Jen month, and we're just going to let Jen continue to pick the movies. But if you have suggestions for what you think we should talk about, slide into our DMs. I know lately I've been saying this often, but it's just like it seems like we're not active on social media because we're not. But we do check our DMs. Like I still check it and shit, and I get notifications when you guys like comment and message us and stuff. So please don't stop doing that just because we've stopped posting. Just because I feel so dire, and going on those apps makes me feel so crazy. So I just don't do it, and I think we can all agree that is a universal sentiment right now.
Reasonable.
Right? But that does not, I don't want to dissuade anyone from commenting and telling us what movies you would like us to talk about. New stuff, old stuff, Oscar stuff specifically right now. And you can also check out the Patreon where we have bonus episodes, bonus content that you can get for $2.86, I believe. Just the cost of a Great Value brand ice cream sandwich.
Not too bad.
And that's all. Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.